Okay, guys, just quickly reading briefly through the notes on Oisín Tír na no, okay? So it hasn't been on the paper since 2016, all right? And generally when this comes up, if you noticed, it is coming up in different, in smaller parts, okay? So we're given 3 small questions in 2016 and you had to answer 2 of them. So the first one was about Oisín's character. The second one was about Niamh Pádraig, St. Patrick, and the last one was about the exaggeration. Right, so that's what came up in 2016. 2013, then Niamh Kinnora's character came up. Oisín came up again, right? And the traits of folklore came up as well. All right. So when you're writing these, you're talking about writing 3/4 of a page to a page for each one of the parts of a question. Okay. So if you notice, guys, the characters always come up, so they're important. And notice that Oisín came up twice. Niamh might be due to come up again. Béileages might be due to come up, or even the emotions might be due to come up. Other sample questions you could get, right, are on béileages. Okay, Jinker she's are on béileages, the traits of the folklore. Okay, and I'll explain that to you as we go through the recording. The emotions come up. Really, the emotions are uighness and brown or grá, sadness, loneliness, and love, okay? And really the loneliness and the sadness comes out on top. Other questions on the characters, the traits of the characters, Oisín's role in his own destiny, okay? Now, Oisín's tragic life could be another thing they could ask you. Role ládrig manas na scéaltaí fíneachta, so the women have a strong role. Who and which we shin, your opinion on that, okay? And then role Niamh Pádraig, okay? And then the relationship between Oisín and Niamh Pádraig, just different questions. And then other questions that could come up, just describe Tír na nÓg and the life of the Fenians, all right? So these are all answered throughout the notes here. Okay, so first thing I'm going to go down to you, right, is I'm going to tell you here, what are the traits of a Fenian story or three and béileages, okay? So there are 5 of them really that you can use, okay? First one is an chrógach nó an léachas, okay, so that's bravery, all right? So cróga is an adjective, chrógachtain is in noun. Dríocht an ábhail is the magic and the exaggeration. Okay, these would be important terms to know, all right? Because are important words to know because they could come up in the questions. An coivalent, which is the conflict between Christianity and paganism. Christianity being Niamh Pádraig and paganism being Oisín and the Fenians. They were pagans. Dúlra or Lug Adamnacha. Okay, I don't really go into that one too much and I don't use it, but you'll notice a lot of different place names throughout it, like Glan na Smól, Dún Rí na Mó, alright? Nihivracha Triagus Shacht and Furlovus Naman, which is the supremacy of women. Okay, so they are all traits of the béileages. All right, so you can talk about any of those, and if this came up as a long question, I would be looking at trying to talk about 4 or 5 of them. Okay, what I'm going to do now, guys, right, is I'm just going to quickly, before I read through the notes, point out, okay, where you could find a paragraph on each of these traits, okay, in these notes, okay. So I think I've them numbered. So where is it now? They're three and béileages. You could use these. Okay, 3 to 4 points on the exaggeration and the magic. Okay. Down here then, the second trait, magical numbers. They're there for you. Okay. Then the next trait is here, this section here. Okay, so this section here as well, because that's about the paganism versus Christianity. Then here, this section here is another point you could use. It's about Furlovus Naman, the supremacy of women. Okay. And the final point you could use is here actually, Cróga, the bravery or the líochas, okay? Bravery or heroism. So that's the final trait of béileages. So they're the 5 things and I've them numbered anyway. So if this question was to come up as a long question about béileages, you could use those 5 paragraphs. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, I'm going to very quickly read through the notes and translate them. So scéal béileages é Oisín Tír na nÓg. So it's a folklore story, as you know. Círíonn béileages. So it means Ólas a hagan nús
hugging Oglún go glú. So it is information from mouth that comes down from generation to generation. Is scéal fíneochta é comá, so it's a Fenian story as well. Tugann siad cuirseas ar an síle bhí ag Finn McCool, so it tells us about the life of Finn McCool, Ratharoshi, agus na Fianna and the Fenians when Cormac MacArt was the High King of Ireland. So scéal seo fáin muid cuirseas ar Híloshi. Okay, so that is a starter for a long question, or you could just put it in, but you don't have to learn it if you don't want to. So another very important thing is undriacht, the magic, the exaggeration, or the supernatural. All right, so as I said before, this is a trait of the Béileages. Okay, and that's the first trait of Béileages we come across. So you could pick a couple of points from this, maybe 3 to 4, and learn them. All right. So, ní bheadh éon scéal gan an dríocht, an tábhéil nó an tos nó dúir. There'd be no story without the magic. A lot of magical and exaggerated things happen. All right. So all the stuff that's in red here, guys, is the examples from the story of these things, and that's the most important stuff. So tosníonn an scéal leis an dríocht. So it begins with the dríocht or the exaggeration. Bhí 300 fear bant cloching Lán na Smór. Okay, 300 men lifting a stone in Lán na Smór. We see a lug at them there. Okay, it was too heavy for them. A young, good-looking man arrived on a white horse, and it was Oisín, and he helped the men. He caught the stone and he threw it 7 perches. Okay, that's just a unit of distance. But he fell from the horse, and he was an old blind man. All right, so that's the first exaggeration, as if that would really happen. All right. Lana an ábhéil nó an dríocht nar a bhúla muid le Niamh Cinor. So it continues when we meet with Niamh Cinor. Jetchel Niamh tríd na Farraga. So she flew over the sea on a white horse to Ireland to meet with Oisín. Con casúle. If you don't like casúle, you can say búlúle, to meet with them, like as if she'd fly over the sea on a white horse in real life. Be great if we could. An úsar sin, wagur Niamh go gurach sí Oisín. Go gurach sí Oisín. She threatened that she would put him under a spell. If you don't like that, actually, wagur Niamh go gurach, you could just say dúirt Niamh go gurach sí faoi gasa. So you need to know that word gasa, under a spell, to go to Tirnanog. Okay, so the dríocht of the overall continues on the way to Tirnanog. Okay, there's an Etzel's wheel, Ellich wheel, doe, all right, flying through the air. Honnig siad ban chapel don ag marcioch le úl oran a láv. So they saw a woman on a brown horse with a golden apple in her hand, and honnig siad fear couple ban. I should have some ag marciocht in a so riding after her with a sword in his hand. Okay, so that's on the way to Tirnanog. Then this is all about Tirnanog as well. Crohin Niamh Eva Idélach. So she creates an ideal image, or dríochtúil, no ábhéilach, exaggerated, romantic image of Tirnanog. Jershi Gurbi, she said that it was Untirs even a Fingrin, the most beautiful country under the sun. Bichelon le blanc a millagus vian, full of flowers, honey, and wine, and there was no age or death. Okay, and once again, when we reach Tirnanog, we get an exaggerated description. They saw the houses, or the sun houses, made from shiny stones, and the fields under flower. They got married, and they had a party that lasted for 10 days and nights. Mighty crack. And they had 3 kids, Oscar, Fiona, and Plurnamon. So there's the description of Tirnanog, and that's important as well. Okay, just in case that came up as a question. Okay, the magical numbers. I'm not going to read through this, guys, for you, because it's really straightforward. You'll understand it all. Okay, the only thing you mightn't understand is the reason they used the numbers was so that the storytellers, remember, these were told, stories, Béileages were told, they were spoken. So they use the numbers to help them remember it. And that's a trait of the Béileages as well. Okay, I'm going to go on to Niamh Pádraig very, very quickly. Don't think he'll come up, actually, because he came up the last time that this question was asked. So he stands for the Seas Niamh Pádraig, the Dauna Christiochta of Christianity. Okay, so he stands for the Down of Christianity. And this is also a trait of Béileages, paganism versus Christianity. So there were pagans and there was tension between both worlds. Pádraig stands for the Christian side and Oisín and Fianna were pagans. And remember, Pádraig's role was to convert Ireland to Christians, and he did this in Oisín's case, okay? Kind, helpful and welcoming, and he was broad-minded, all right? Why do we think this? Okay, so remember the red is from the story again. He really welcomed Oisín, he gave him a bed and food, he listened to his stories and he took good care of him, all right? He came from a world of paganism and he listened to Oisín's stories that were full of magic and exaggeration, even though he didn't believe in that, okay? Niamh Cinor, her character, all right? So she's beautiful, magical, and she has supernatural powers, okay? So this again, number 4 here is trait of Béileages. Furlóvas Lamán is the supremacy of women. So her character is authoritative, independent, and a little bit selfish as well, all right? So what does this tell us about her? She heard about Oisín and his heroism, so she came over the sea to meet him, all right? She fell in love with him, and she was happy to put him under a spell to go to Tirnanog. But think about this, she wouldn't move to Tirnanog. She didn't want to leave her friends and family. She made Oisín move to Tirnanog. And she didn't care. It was Cumalehi that Fiona and Fianna were crying when they were going. Her own desires were the most important thing for her. All right? So, you see the love as well that she had for Oisín and her clan. So she was Gráwer. When Oisín was lonely, she let him go back to Ireland to see the Fenians. She knew that he wouldn't be happy in Tirnanog, and she gave him a warning. So Rá was a warning 3 times. Now lag the chus or halav na haireann, only chuki to a rash a reach. Do we see that she's loving? Okay, so that's Niamh Cinor. And finally, we see Oisín's character. Okay, guys, sorry I'm reading really quickly, but I only have 50 minutes recording time on this, and then it turns off on me. So this is Oisín's character now. Okay, so first of all, you know that he's brave, and this is also a trait of Béileages, right? So the Fenians were heroes, right? They were very brave. They were soldiers, okay, and they also were there to protect Ireland against attackers or invaders, right? And we see the trait of Croga in Oisín's character, all right? We see his Crogacht, or his bravery and his strength when he helps in Glan Small, and we also see it when he fights with the Fómhair Bulloch, okay, for 10 days and 10 nights, and he takes the head off your man and saves the Ilín Rina Mó, all right? Okay, so down here then we see that he's Gráwer and Zealish, loyal and loving. So they're Fianna and Fianna, we see that when they were leaving Ireland going to Tirnanog, we see that his love and his loyalty, he was crying, saying goodbye to his dad. He was sad thinking about the days he spent with the Fenians. Okay, and they're the things they used to do. Ixshelg is hunting, Yimrich Fiachala is playing chess. Okay, he had so much love for them that he was lonely in Tirnanog and had to go back to see them. All right, so we see as well that he had love for Niamh. Okay, so when he met her, he said, "You were my choice of women over all women in the world." He kissed her and they had a happy life together, happy days. And he also had love for Oisín and his family. Oisín also had love for his family, and we see that his love for Oscar when he said to the people in Glan Small, if Oscar was here, he would throw that cloth in the air easily. All right. So that they're the emotions grow as well. Now this is the sadness, okay? So uigness and bro, all right? So, and I only have 15 minutes. So Nurahonik, Oisín Arash Caharan, he knew that he was sad because Finn and Fianna were dead. And he got tired and sad. He went to this is where Fianna used to live, and there was nettles growing there. And on he went reluctantly to all the places where the Fenian lived, okay? Then his tragedy continued in Glan Small, and you know that story. And in Ireland, life had changed, but Oisín couldn't change. He was lonely, he wasn't comfortable in this world, and he didn't mix with people, but Pádraig, okay? He wanted to eat his meals by himself, and this makes us sad, okay? So this here now, he'd lost everything. I'm not going to have time to read through it all. Is there anything difficult? He knew his destiny, that he was going to die and he'd a tragic life, okay? And that the brone is sadder than the love, okay? And the next thing is the role he has in his own destiny, or him being headstrong. The role he had in his own destiny. And this happens twice in the story, guys, okay? And I'm not going to have time to read this. This is going to stop recording for me. But it happens when he meets Niamh, Fionn tells him not to go to thing, but he goes, and then when he doesn't listen to Neve's warning. Okay?